said a hip hop, a hibbit to the hip hip hopper. You don't stop the rocket to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat.
Hey folks, I'd like to finish up the video by talking about this last problem. If you'll notice, it's got 3 different inequalities shaded. So the final answer is we're looking at this stuff right here that is all 3 colors. I know it's hard to see, but this is our final answer. And what we're asked to do is write the system of inequalities that would create this final answer. Now that can be an overwhelming job. Before you freak out, I haven't seen any of your homework questions that have 3 different inequalities to create one system, but I thought it'd be fun and it'd be nice to help you think through this process. So let's think about one piece at a time. You'll notice you have 2 straight lines. This one that's going down, the blue one. You have that one that's going increasing over here, the red one. And then you have this parabola that's upside down. So let's start with the blue line, if you like. So let's start with the blue line. Now what I'm going to do is erase the yellow here. That's our final answer. And just look at the blue line. And I'm shading this in yellow. But all of this is the blue line. Okay? All of that is shaded. You'll see it's shaded blue. I'm going back over it in yellow, but all of that is shaded blue. So on this page, I have 3 different pages to get this done. On this page, let's just write that particular inequality. So the first thing we have to do is write the equation of that straight line. And if you'll remember that a straight line is of the form, or a form, and we like to stick with the form, y equals mx plus b, where b is your y-intercept and m is your slope. Okay, so first of all, on the blue line, let's look at our y-intercept, and notice it crosses the y-axis right there at the point 0, 0, and that y value is 0. So far we have y equals mx plus 0. Now let's take a look at the slope. Now to calculate a slope, you need a nice grid line. You need to be able to tell where the graph crosses. Now it looks like this one right here is a good point, but if you'll notice, look at your scale. You know, every 4 lines is 2, so that means halfway between is 1 over here. That's -1. Okay, so that's -1/2, so that's not going to be a good point right there. So let's try this again. Uh-oh, I got rid of all my yellow. I didn't mean to do that. Stand by. Let me put some yellow back. Just remember what in the world we're talking about. There we go. Okay. Now, how about this point instead? Is that a nice point where you can tell where it is? So, yeah, that's at the point -1, 2. So from my y value, I rise up 2. Now, again, it's not 4 because that's a half. So this is 1. And this is 2. I rise up 2 and to the left 1. So if I rise up 2 and to the left 1, that's my slope right there. Okay, so that gives me y is equal to, well, 2 divided by -1 is -2x plus 0, which can be simplified into just -2x. The final thought is, do I put a less than, a greater than, or less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to? It's one of those 4. Now, first of all, since I'm dealing with a dashed line, that means the equal to guys are out. So it's either less than or greater than. And my y values are all shaded above the line. You notice to the left would be below the line. That's on this side. Okay, to the right would be above the line. The y values are bigger than everything on the line. Therefore, I'm talking about a greater than. So my blue line is y is greater than -2x. Okay, so not bad. Just one piece at a time. We're looking at just the blue line. Y is greater than -2x. And that is a negative slope, right? Because it's falling from left to right. Now, the next page, let's try the red line. Okay, so now I'm looking at the red line. Let me shade the red line for you. I'm going to shade it in some weird orange. So you see the red line, it's dashed, and all of this is shaded that red color, or that orangish color, okay? So what I'm trying to do is write an inequality for just the stuff that I'm shading right there. all of that. Okay, well first we have to write the equation of a line. What kind of line is it? It's a straight line. You agree? So that means I need y equals mx plus b. So when I look at my straight line, remember the red one or the pink one, where it crosses the y-axis is right here at 0, 0, just like the blue one. So far I have y equals mx plus 0. Okay, next, what's the slope? Again, I've got to find a nice place that it crosses. That looks like a nice place that it crosses, but remember, this is 1, so that's 1/2. And we don't want to go up, over 1/2. It can be done, but let's don't go through that much trouble. This is a better spot, okay? Because if you count, that counts up 2 and right 1. So remember, this is 1, this is 2. All those other ones are half marks. We don't want to use those. So up 2, right 1. So my slope is up 2, which is a positive 1, and right 1, which is a positive 1, plus 0. So right now, that gives me y is equal to 2 divided by 1 is 2x, plus 0 is just 2x. Finally, do I put less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to? Well, when I'm looking at my reddish line that I shaded orange to the left, that's a dashed line. So the solids are out. Now, are my y's above the line or are my y's below the line? So above the line is everything up and to the left, and below is everything down, which also happens to be to the right. Well, it's up, right? And so, actually left, that's greater than 2x. My y's are bigger than my line that I have shaded in. So this is the second inequality. Y is greater than 2x. All right, we've almost got this done. Let's try the third inequality. Okay, so the third inequality is my parabola. Okay, and my parabola is shaded kind of this purple color. I don't think I do have a purple highlighter right in here. So I'm trying to write an inequality for all of this part that's shaded right here, which is under the parabola, right? Which means my y's are less than the parabola. I've already got that figured out. Solid line or dashed line, well, that's solid. So we know we're going to have an equal to. But let's get the parabola named first, and then we'll get into all that. So first of all, a parabola. So we talk about how the parabola is moved. A normal parabola, we know, looks like this. So what's the difference? Well, first of all, this thing is flipped upside down. So to flip a parabola upside down, you have to have a negative in front. And it hasn't been moved left or right at all. It just, we slid that up and flipped it upside down. So that means we have x squared, and it's been moved up 4, so we put plus 4. And the nice thing is it hasn't been moved left or right at all, so that is your equation. It's nice, isn't it? The left or the right means you have to multiply stuff out, but when you just move it up or down, it's easy. And so I say y is equal to negative x squared plus 4. Now again, did we shade above the parabola, which would be y is greater than, or did we shade below the parabola, which is y is less than? And we shaded below. Now next, we need an equal to. Why? Because it's a solid line. And there we have it. So our final answer is to put all of that together. Okay? So when we put all of that together, if you'll remember, we had y, remember we did our blue line first, is greater than, and that was negative 2x. And then our red line was y is greater than positive 2x. And then finally, y is less than or equal to negative x squared plus 4. And that is the system that creates the shaded part that's shaded for everything. Is this part right here, little ice cream cone looking piece in the middle. Now again, I don't think any of your homework is that bad because you don't have 3 inequalities to deal with, but it will help you deal with the homework. It'll help you think through it. Now next, I would like to show you one of the homework problems. All right, folks, so what I have here is a typical question that shows up in this homework section. Notice this is Module 5, homework number 3, graphing nonlinear inequalities and systems of inequalities. And there are several types of problems that show up in this section. One of the types is they just get you to graph one nonlinear, maybe even a linear inequality, not a system. What I have here is a system. And then the other types of problems that show up, they give you the graph, and then you have to select which system it is. This is the one I wanted to show you, though. And there's a couple things going on here. First of all, the first inequality right here, this top one, y is greater than or equal to x squared plus 4x. We know that's a parabola, right? Because it's quadratic. It's an x squared. Whereas the second inequality, y is less than or equal to negative x minus 4, is a straight line. And the reason I picked this problem, and I had to go through several to find one like this, but the reason I picked this problem is because one of these is a straight line, and one of them, the second one, and the top one is a parabola. And I want you to see how to graph those properly. Now, the next thing I want to tell you is I can't mark on this screen. I don't have any way of doing that. And so I'm going to do some figuring and try to talk you through this. You may want to write this on paper as well. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at y equals x squared plus 4x. So I'm writing that over on my paper on the side. Now, we have to find the vertex, right? So the vertex of y equals x squared plus 4x is x equals negative b over 2a. So this is negative, my b is 4 over 2, and my a is 1. You with me? So negative 4 divided by positive 2 is negative 2. So the x value of my vertex for the first equation is negative 2. Now to find the y value, I plug that back in. So picture plugging negative 2 into the x squared and into the 4x. Now you just have to trust me. On paper, that's negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2. And that gives me 4 minus 8, which is negative 4. So my vertex, keep this in mind, is negative 2, negative 4. I'm not even looking at my second equation right now. I'm going to go graph that vertex. Now, does this parabola open upward or does it open downward? Well, it opens upward because the leading coefficient is 1. The next thing is it's not stretched. So watch how I graph this. Okay. Now I'm going to do it in the red because that's already parabola shape. But honestly, I don't think it matters what color you do which one. Okay. So, and by the way, these can do parabola shape or they can do a straight line. I made the mistake of looking at one and going, well, they're showing a straight line and it needs to be a parabola. They will bend to either or. That's the main reason I'm showing you this problem. So x squared plus 4x. Remember, we decided that the vertex was negative 2, negative 4. So I'm going to go to the middle one because the vertex is always the middle one. So I move it over to negative 2 and then negative 4. So you see that's at negative 2, negative 4. Now, my next point, my left point, since this parabola opens upward, is only going to be 1 away. So see how I moved over to the left and up 1 because it's not stretched at all. And the right one is also going to be just 1 away. So there's my parabola, x squared plus 4x. Okay, and again, if I check my vertex again, that's negative b over 2a, which is negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So I have my vertex of negative 2, and my y value is negative 2 plugged in here. So negative 2 squared is 4, plus 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. And I've got that going on as well. And I'm going to slide down so we can see this a little better. So that is negative 2, negative 4. Now I've got to decide how to shade. I'm only looking at the top one. Now it says y's are greater than my line. So to get y's bigger than my line, I'm talking about above, which means above the line means inside the U. Now, it's a solid line, you agree? So here's what I do. You don't click on, it's the top of the 4, of the 5, and the orange is the top one. But you don't click on it, you slide up to it. And see how it changed? So watch that again. It was originally right here. And I slid the dot up to what I want, which is a solid line with the inside of the parabola shaded in because this is y is greater than or equal to. Now let's look at our second line. Okay, that's a straight line. Picture changing that to y equals negative x minus 4. Now my y-intercept is this -4. It's already in y equals mx plus b. So the first thing I'm going to plot on my middle point is my intercept of -4. So down here, the blue line, look, it's already at -4. That's just fortuitous. That has nothing to do with the problem. It's already there, just happens to be. Now the next thing is my slope. Notice the slope is -1, which means down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. So that's what I'm going to do. From there, if I go down 1 and right 1, that means I'm at my next point, which is right here. See how it's shaped like a parabola now? And I don't want it to be. I want it to be a straight line. It will be when I get that other point fixed. So again, if you go down 1, right 1, that takes us there. Now we can do the opposite, and we can go up 1, left 1. So that means this blue point right here moves over, and it happens to be that other point. There's my up 1, left 1. Now, my blue line, what do I shade? When I go back and look, it says y is smaller than or less than or equal to my line. So less than or equal to means below the line, and it's also solid because of the equal to part. So I go look at my blue options, and I go solid and below the line. Again, I don't click on it. I slide that black dot down to it, and there it is. Now my answer is that little part in the middle, almost a teardrop looking shape that's both colors. But you don't have to do anything for your answer. You just submit from there. So we're going to submit it. Now listen, it's easy to miss these. So if you get frustrated, I understand. If you want to send me one of your problems you're stuck on, just send it to me. And you know, do a screenshot of it or take a picture of it and send it in, and I'll be glad to help you. So I push submit. Never push the next button because you've already figured that out. That takes you to the next homework. You push submit always, and when I push submit, yay, we got it right. Okay, thank goodness. But I wanted you to see that because when I've worked this homework, I've had issues with using the graphing tool, and sometimes they're both parabolas when one's a straight line and one's a parabola, but it turns out these shapes can be made into a straight line or they can be made into a parabola. The hard part is I always move the middle one first and then move the other two to match up. I hope this helps. If you have more trouble with it, you just let me know and we'll try to work on it together, okay? Have a wonderful day.